Hello, y'all. Well, today is another asynchronous day. We're going to have a few asynchronous days throughout these next 2 weeks due to testing and whatnot. So go ahead if you like, just like on Tuesday. Was that Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. You can either go ahead and open up that rational decision making activity now and complete that as we're going through this PowerPoint, or you can wait until I finish this video and you can do that rational decision making activity yourself. But think of this as our OneNote for the day. All right. It might be helpful to just honestly open this now because I'm going to go through the definitions. And also, y'all, I'm at home right now. Sis is cozy. Sis is on her couch, so please don't judge me, but we're going to get through this. I have the same meme that I showed y'all yesterday, so yay. Skip economics class. The opportunity cost is too damn high. So we love throwing out econ memes. Just a reminder that our week 5 through 6 exit tickets are due next Friday. Your Unit 3 exam, which is optional, will be May 19th. That's if you aren't a fan of your Unit 2 exam grade and you want to reassess that. That Unit 3 exam will be your reassessment opportunity because typically we can't reassess unit exams. So just keep that in mind because I know that Unit 2 exam was a tad bit harder for us than the first one. And I promise the Unit 3 one will be similar to Unit 1. But all right, so today we're going to look at the various type of incentives. And again, incentives just means like something that gets folks to want to engage in a specific market, project, to buy something, to do something. Like what is the benefit of doing something? We're also going to talk about unintended consequences. And then lastly, decision making and costs. And then after you complete this video and do the activity that's associated with this video, we'll watch 2 more videos on opportunity costs. Y'all, I'm blanking. I don't feel like pausing this video to go check that, but you got 2 more videos. And one is actually going to talk about COVID and whatnot, as well as vaccines. So I hope y'all are going to be interested in that. All right, so today is all about rational decision making in terms of microeconomics. So here are definitions for the day. If it helps you to just pause the video so you can answer those questions in the activity, you're free to do so. But I have 5 definitions on this page and I'm going to have another 7 on the next. So just keep that in mind. So, all right, an incentive is a positive or negative environmental stimulus that motivates behavior. That's something that's going to motivate someone to do something, right? So in this image here, we have this guy on the treadmill. His motivation is being able to eat that carrot, right? He has to keep working so that he can eat that carrot. A moral incentive is the personal satisfaction of active self-expression through contribution or other involvement to social causes. Like what is morally incentivized, right? Like what about me, I don't know, running this marathon is going to help myself morally or make me feel good morally. Coercive incentive is an incentive that contains a threat or penalty for failure to act in a certain manner. So you're coercing someone to do something, right? Maybe that individual doesn't want to do it, but like you're using coercion to get that person to do it. You're threatening them or you're talking about some form of penalty that they'll receive for not doing that specific action. An economic incentive is exactly what it sounds like. Shared goals of working for policies that will provide members with material benefit. Like what financially can I get out of this? Social incentive is a motivating factor that affects someone's reputation in society. So these next few definitions, again, if you want to pause it right here just to get these questions, feel free to, but I'm going to go ahead and explain them. Monetary benefit is additional payments made to employees on top of their wages or salaries, such as bonuses. Utility cost is exactly what it sounds like, charges for the use of electrical, gas, and water services. Usually when you get an apartment, when you buy a house, you have to pay utility costs, like costs for utilizing certain things like electricity, gas, water. Explicit cost is the actual payments a firm makes to its factors of production and other suppliers. Remember the factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. So those payments made to those factors of productions or other suppliers. Implicit costs are input costs that do not require an outlay of money by the firm. Variable costs are costs that vary with the quantity of output produced. So these are costs that are going to vary based on how much that supplier, that producer is producing. Fixed costs are costs that remain constant as output changes. So just costs that you have to pay. This might be rent, right? Like rent won't really change unless you sign a new lease or something. So it's fixed. It's not really going to change regardless of how much you're producing. And then lastly, rational decision making, which is what all of this lesson is about, is just a systematic process of defining problems, evaluating alternatives, and choosing optimal solutions. Like really thinking about like, what are the costs and benefits of going into this specific project versus this other project, right? Like using rationale to determine whether like certain decisions made within firms and businesses or as an individual is necessary, relevant, or maybe you should just go in an alternative way. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk about the type of incentives. So again, a moral incentive is going to encourage you to do something because you like doing the right thing, right? Like what morally feels right. So here we have this example of this man, right? He could either risk paying off his money, which will be a profit for the bank, or risk failing, which would lead to bankruptcy and government bailoff. So like there might be a moral hazard there, right? Like he could either pay off whatever he owes, which will be a profit for the bank, or he might not want to pay that off, but then that can lead to bankruptcy and ultimately government bailout. So in terms of businesses, you want to think about like what's morally right, like what will morally incentivize this person to do the right thing. Social incentives are when a person does or does not do something because they believe it will be viewed positively by others, right? So like, how might others view me for making this certain decision or going into this specific field or business, right? Like, how might others view me if I create a vaccine that is only for the rich and the wealthy, right? Like, what are the social incentives of creating this vaccine that's inaccessible to all people? Economic incentives, again, are exactly what they sound like. Like, how much money can I get out of this? If I develop this vaccine for all people, can I get paid by making this vaccine for all people? Or will I get paid more by making a vaccine that is only accessible to the rich and wealthy? And then again, coercive incentive, when a person does or does not do something to avoid punishment or having something physically taken away from them, right? Like maybe an individual really doesn't want to do something, but they fear that they might get beat, they might lose something, that they might be punished for not doing what that individual would have preferred for them to do. So then we have like coercion happening. All right. So a key point for us is that when someone uses an incentive to influence individual or group behavior, they generally have an intended effect in mind. People are tricky and clever, and sometimes individuals and groups do not respond to incentives in the way intended by the person using the incentive to shape behavior, right? This then leads to unintended consequences. And in this image, we have a perfect example, right? Where homeboy is just chilling, he's sitting, and he leans to the right, he hits down one of these dominoes, not realizing that that's going to cause all of these various dominoes around him to fall, and ultimately it's going to end up falling on him. That's an unintended consequence. He didn't realize how that was going to negatively impact him. And that's definitely the case with a ton of incentives. Folks don't realize maybe how this might impact others, especially when talking about moral and social incentives, as well as coercive incentives. All right, I'm going to move on. All right, so let's get into talking about rational decision making. Again, at any point where you feel the need to pause this video so that you can continue working on the assignment, please feel free to do so because it is kind of in correlation with this activity as well. So now we're going to move into rational decision making and off of incentives. So a key point I really want y'all to keep in mind is that a rational decision is just a decision where the total benefits of the decision exceed or are equal to the total cost of the decisions. This is where we start talking about that cost-benefit analysis. Like, what are the costs, what are the benefits, and which one outweighs each? For businesses, a rational decision is just to make a profit, right? Like they want to think about how can I make a profit and what rational decisions do I need to make in order to do so. But all right, if y'all have any questions in regards to this lesson, I know I went through that really quickly, but I kind of would prefer y'all to explore through the activity and work through it yourself. But if y'all do have any questions, feel free to message me. I am currently proctoring the 10th grade STAR right now. But I promise I will get back to y'all as soon as possible. But go ahead and complete our activity for the day so that you have practice with talking about rational decision making, and complete our exit ticket for today, which is within the same folder in Schoology. Again, if y'all have any questions, I'm here. Just message me, and I will see y'all tomorrow in class. Love y'all. Have a great day. Miss you guys. Yeah, bye.